again and welcome once again to Granny Gro Ann. Do you know what? I have been 1 week to London and it was such a great joy. Oh, I'm so full of excitement for that trip we have just had and it was so wonderful for me to be back in London. I haven't been back for many years now because of the COVID and because I have had so much work to do. I haven't been there since I think 2016 or 2015 even. And now I've been there and it's such a wonderful thing for me because I love that city. I have told you before that I studied in London, but of course if you see this vlog for the first time you wouldn't know that, but I studied at Mount Hugh Academy of Theatre Arts for 3 years back in the 70s. And I stayed on because I got an agent and I was hoping and thinking and wondering and wishing that I could stay on in England and become an actress there. But I went to several auditions, but I was just almost there, but never mind, it wasn't me. So I ended up going back to Norway and I have been an actress here for a decade or more, decades, I think, many decades. But anyway, that was that. But London is in my heart and I think almost in my blood. I really love that city. I took with me my grandchild. He is 14 years old. He has just been consummated, so a gift from grandma was a trip to London, and I think he really enjoyed it. Of course, having with me a 14-year-old young boy, we planned the trip so that it would be mostly interesting for him. So the first thing we did, we went to the National History Museum, where the big skeleton of the dinosaur is, and all other things, interesting things for a young lad. Darwin's collection was there with all the things that he was occupied with and where he was planning all his theses. And we saw mammoths, we saw dinosaurs, we saw fishes, we saw so many things, and it was a great joy. And the building, I mean, it's so wonderful. And everything, and all the school children were there, and everybody was looking, and the stars in the eyes of the young people. That was very interesting and very nice to see. The hunger for knowledge that you could see in the faces of the young kids that were there, and my grandchild as well. It was fascinating. I have never been to the National History Museum actually. I was never so occupied with that, but of course it appears in almost every movie from England. I mean, even if it's a mystery, or whether it's Paddington or whatever, they all end up from time to time in the National History Museum. So it was a must. It's been on my list for a long time, but this time I went with my grandchild. So that was the first day, and I stayed in Battersea at my cousin's house, and that was really nice. Joining up with family is a great thing. The next day, my cousin had invited me to the theatre. We went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's a 7-hour-long play. And I thought, well, I am interested in theatre, but 7 hours, will I take it? Will I enjoy it? Will it be any good? Will it be a very commercial thing? But it was fantastic. It really was fantastic. The actors are very good in England. I mean, there's no one on the stage at the West End who is not good. The scenery and the technician and the way they change from one person to another in just seconds. And the change of scenery and the choreography, and I mean, it was so fascinating. I was so impressed. And these quick changes. I mean, one person is, and suddenly it's another actor playing the same part in the same costume, or suddenly the costume is changed to something completely different, and it's just seconds, and they just appear, and they were dancing in the air. And I mean, I've seen that before, but always I can see the things that the actors have on to be able to move out in the air. But this time I couldn't see anything. They were just floating. So it was so fantastic. And it's been going on in London since 2016. I happened to sit very close to where the technicians were having their seats, and so I just had to talk to them, of course. So and the play will probably be running for many years now. So if you have the chance, take with you a young person and go and see it, because it was incredible. It started at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it went on until 5 o'clock with a little 20 minutes break, and then it was a long break for 2 hours, and we went out and had dinner, and then we came back at 7 o'clock in the evening and saw it until 11 o'clock at night. So I mean, God, it was wonderful, and it was worth every penny. So that was day 2. So the whole day really went to that theatre production. And the next day I went out shopping and doing the sights of London with my grandchild, and he wanted some special things he had been looking up on the internet, some shoes. So we tried to find that ape store, and we managed to find it, and he bought those shoes, and he was very, very happy for that. And we went to Carnaby Street and Soho and Mayfair, and well, different places, and of course all the sights of Westminster, Buckingham Palace, all these things that he wanted to see. And the flowers all around in the gardens, of course. And the weather was wonderful, wonderful. A bit hot, but wonderful. And the tubes were running smoothly, and everything was good. So on that evening, I met up with my cousin Helen, because we wanted to see more theatre. And my grandchild went home to Battersea, and there he met up with some new cousins of mine. So they joined up with my grandchild while Helen and I went to do the theatre to see Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And that was, goodness gracious, fantastic. About an incident that happened in Salem in 1692. Some girls were out dancing in the night in the woods, and they decided to dance naked, and after that they came back a bit hysterical, and they get these spasmes, I don't know what it's called in English, but they got this frustration, and they said that it was because they had seen the devil. And then the prosecution started. So why does Arthur Miller write this story in 1953? I'm not quite sure, because the story is very fascinating, but it's all about, what shall I say, fanatism, hatred, betrayal, who to believe, who not to believe. What is the truth? Shall I stand in the truth, whatever price it costs? And of course, the main part, the farmer, he stands in the truth. And he have to die for it. So it's a very heavy play, but it's really fascinating. And it tells something about gossip, rumors, and fanatism. And I think we have that today as well, in various forms and characters. But it's dangerous. And it's a good play to do these days, I think. Fascinating, fantastic actors, fantastic scenery at the Gilgit Theatre in London, done by the National Theatre. So that was the other evening. On Friday, we joined up with the whole family, my 3 cousins, brothers and sisters, Sheila, Helen, and Martin, and off we went on the boat to Greenwich to go to the Greenwich Observatory. Also a thing that we wanted to do because of this young lad. And that was also a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And the weather was fantastic, and the observatory was beautiful and interesting, and he went and saw everything, all the clocks and everything, and looking up at the stars and whatever you could do there. So it was another well-spent day. And the next day, him and I went to the Warner Brothers studio. We had bought a day trip to the Warner Brothers studios, the Harry Potter Museum now, and we could see all the decorations and props and you know, all the things from those movies. It's about 7 movies, I think. I have not seen the movies at all, and I had never read the books, so I really don't know anything about Harry Potter. But of course, my grandchild knew every detail, so for him it was a great joy. And of course, he told me, he was my guide, and we went along and we saw things and we experienced and we heard on the radio and we saw films and we saw bits and we were explained that, and you know, we spent the whole day there, and it was fascinating and it was worth every penny, also this trip. So all in all, we just had this wonderful time. I thought I should make a lot of footage when I was in London, but I mean, that's absolutely impossible. Both because I had family around and because, I mean, there were so many tourists everywhere, and somewhere you can't take photos, and some other places you can't do that, and so. And I mean, it was just not possible. I have taken a few pictures, of course, you have seen along now, but that was all. And well, that was about it. So now I'm home, and the summer is coming. We are at the start of July, and I'm going to have a long break, doing almost nothing, and I will see you in August. So take care. I hope you have a wonderful summer yourself, and bye for now.